Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to Hoop Spaces. It is a great day. Live. This is our preseason live, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m., catching you up on all the action that goes down in the NBA, all the news and notes and stories and headlines that you want to talk about, listen about. That is what we're here for. Back in our grizzy, as they used to say when Drake first came out. If you want a mic, just like my friend Scott here did, go ahead, raise that hand so you can come on up. If you don't want to come on up or you can't, that's cool. There is a chat box at the bottom right. Hop in there, say what's up, share your take. We'll get it up here. And remember, I ask this all the time when you do come in, because you press the phone to come in. Do me the favor, like and retweet the show card so that the people know we are ready to go. Back and better than ever, as Mike Greenberg used to say on Mike and Mike in the morning. By the way, I don't miss that show. I actually never really listened or watched it. I'm just a fan of Mike Greenberg. And like Mike Greenberg said last night, the Detroit Lions suck, and that's why we don't talk about football. He didn't say that. I actually just added up there, but like the Detroit Lions do suck, and it's another reason why we don't talk football. Another reason why we don't is we had 5 games of awesome action and one major blowout, and we'll get to that, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back in about 30 seconds. Good morning. All right. Good morning, everybody. I hope that you had a wonderful weekend. I hope that you had blue skies and sunshine. I hope you're able to get that work done. I was hoping maybe you get some time to relax and get yourself prepared, ladies and gentlemen, for the arrival of the NBA regular season. 7 days and a wake up away. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. 7 days and a wake up. I can't wait. I hope you can't wait. And I tell you, someone who can't wait, Kawhi Leonard. He played last night, looked phenomenal. Rudy Gobert didn't play. He's gonna be okay, guys. Like, chill. The blonde hair thing might need to go away. Sacramento played awesome. We had a great game between the Lakers and the Warriors. The Pelicans look scary deep. The Oklahoma City Thunder are able to really destroy offshore talent. And the Chicago Bulls beat the Toronto Raptors, and yet nobody really has any faith in the Chicago Bulls. We already have up on stage my friend Scott, aka Nothing But Heat. Ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor in your mind, give yourself a round of applause for my friend Scott. Inclusion is his game, and he is a wonderful person with the founder of Inclusion brand, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Look, like we talk about inclusion, this community was created to ensure inclusion. We want to hear your voice. We want you to participate. And I want to give Scott here a shout out. Why is that important? Scott here is deaf. So when we do talk, we just give a quick pause so he can catch up.
Shout out.
Scott, good morning. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. You know, I came on here this morning to call you my favorite instigator. You just post some shit that just gets me going every day. Then you totally redeem yourself with that announcement this morning. How can anyone hate you?
Well, apparently they can hate me, Scott, because I tell the truth. Mashed potatoes are nothing but skinless French fries, and they're both overrated. Like, that's why people don't like me.
Food takes it way too early. I'm just trying to enjoy my coffee, dog.
Well, you know what? I would say you could enjoy that coffee with a 2-finger edition of Inclusion brand straight Kentucky bourbon whiskey. But then, you would actually not be able to work the way you're supposed to work today. And I'm glad you're not doing it because then, we would be talking like we talk at nighttime, AKA the pool party. Shout out to all the pool party people who might be in here. I'm also going to get a couple other spaces up in the Jumbotron for everybody. Big shout out to my man Zeke Spoon. All right, look, Twitter is about communication, connection. Zeke does it phenomenally. If you are a sports fan, hit my man Zeke up, shoot him a follow. He will follow you back, right? And he does way more NFL because that's what he does. But he follows every sports fan, and what you'll see is there are thousands and thousands and thousands of people who are also looking to reach out and connect with people. So if you want to try to grow your Twitter account, follow him. Like, he does phenomenal work. Shout out to some of the content creators that are part of the Hoop Spaces family. I see my man Jose is in the building. 30 and Dubs just popped up. We see a couple other people down there who are regular listeners. We want to say a huge good morning to Jackie. Shout out to those Lakers. They won last night. I know you might be happy. We'll definitely talk about that. Shout out also to Sage Monroe. It's good to see you. Hope that your school day is getting ready to kick off without any problems. All right, Scott, what you got? I see your hand's already up.
Yeah, I just want to say this has been a really interesting preseason. You got teams that only play 2, 3, 4 scrimmage games. That's what I call them, preseason games, and nothing more than scrimmage game where coaches get a chance to see their talent. But it's been awfully loud, even for a deaf guy like me. It's been awfully loud this preseason. So if this preseason is any indication of what the season's going to be about, I think NBA fans are going to be in for a huge treat. And just watching the Heat, before the season started, we didn't replace P.J. Tucker, and that was a big. You've got the fan base talking 12, 13, 14 rotational players. So the preseason really is a time to look at your roster, but it gets crazy. So the loudness this year is just a little bit insane just for preseason games. I don't know what you see, Chris.
It has been, Scott. You're absolutely right. It's been absolutely insane. Up top, I threw out another space. This is Basement Sports Heat content. So if you want some Heat content, here's some extra content for you. Just like 77 Spaces with Jose, Rolo, and Jazz, we've got a couple of good Heat fans who are partaking and also creating their version of what we do here called Basement Sports. So make sure you tap in if you want some Heat news. And Scott, I agree. And I think also part of the problem, and I say this is a problem, is the league has now been extended to essentially an 11-month sport. Like, we have 1 month off. And because we only have 1 month off, we are now caught in the same type of news cycle as news, like CNN and Fox. Like, they just continue to repeat, and people turn that off. They tune it out. And then so you got to get, the Stephen A's and Skip Baylesses to yell and argue, and that's what gets people in. And then you get some incidents that happen, like the Draymond Green Jordan Poole incident. You get the Miles Bridges legal incident. And then you get games that you're like, oh, damn, they might be in trouble. And that leads to this wonderful mix of preseason. 4 games is our preseason slate, ladies and gentlemen, and we are almost done. As I said, next week, 7 days in the wake up, we have regular season action. Let me get to the games over the weekend, and we will get back to talking about it. Friday happened to be my birthday. Celtics beat the Hornets 113-103. LaMelo Ball is alone. There you go. LaMelo Ball is alone. That's all you need to know. Like, I wrote a Charlotte Hornets preview. It's over there on hoopspaces.com, and it's now even more depressing after I've seen 2 of the 3 losses that Charlotte has made. 112-103, losing to the Celtics. The Celtics are so deep, I don't think they're going to miss MA. The only thing that I worry about them is Robert Williams III and his long-term health. The Pacers lose to the Knicks 131-114. Ladies and gentlemen, look out. The Knicks are looking good. Obi Toppin, 24 points. Tyrese Halliburton, 20-7. The Chicago Bulls beat the Denver Nuggets 131-113. And I think some red flags are starting to be raised about Denver in terms of their depth and health. They have pieces that are new that they have to kind of coalesce into a functional unit. The return of Jamal Murray is kind of questionable with this nagging injury. Michael Porter Jr. is not really 100%. And then they bring in some other people and actually, more importantly, get rid of Monte Morris. So it's a work in progress. However, they still have arguably the best center in the league, right? And I say arguably because people will yell at me about Joel Embiid. And as a Sixers fan, I kind of have to put out there. Rockets over the Raptors, 116-100. The Heat defeat the Grizzlies, 111-108. And the Pelicans, 107 over the Pistons, 101. Friday night's action ended with the Orlando Magic defeating the Dallas Mavericks, 110-105. And what some Mavs fans said, Rockets fans said, would be the Mavericks' introduction to Christian Wood. He will tantalize you with some offense, and then he'll disappear, is what they said. Saturday, there was only a single game. Hawks and Bucks was a 12 p.m. tip-off. Hawks win 118-109. And I put out the Trae Young and DeJounte Murray, if healthy, are going to combine 50 points, 14 rebounds, 15 assists, 3 steals. They might be the best backcourt in the league, not named Steph Curry and Jordan Poole. We'll get into more of that because that is me saying Jordan Poole should start over Klay Thompson. That's just me. The Bulls yesterday defeated the Raptors 115-98. But don't worry, I've watched this game twice. They put it on in the second half, and they just I don't have faith in the Bulls this year. I think they're going to need to make a couple of moves. Toronto put in their young players in the second half and really took the gas off. Maccabi lost to the Thunder 144-97. If you don't watch international ball, it's okay. Most of the players for Maccabi, if you haven't seen them for a while, they were pretty good D1 and D2 players. The Pelicans behind Trey Murphy III 111-97 over the Victor Wembanyama Spurs. It's going to be a long year in San Antonio. And the Lakers beat the Warriors 124-121. The Kings blow out the Trailblazers by 32, 126-94. Keegan Murray, 16 points in that one. To close it out, the Timberwolves beat the Clippers 119-117. I have a Clipper friend. He is already saying sarcastically, pack it up. We suck. We're not going to win. Key takeaway from that game, and I'll get to Scott and Micah who are up on stage. And if you want one, go ahead and raise your hand. John Wall's healthy. And I was trying to go to bed, and I could not stop watching John Wall. I am just beyond ecstatic and happy. Yes, and Scott understands this as he is a Kentucky Wildcat fan. I lived in the DMV. I've met John Wall. He's a phenomenal point guard. And to me, what had transpired over the last 2 years is borderline criminal. And personally, if I am the Players Association during the protracted CBA negotiations that are going to happen, I would fight tooth and nail to ensure that a team can just not arbitrarily sit a player at home, not without a penalty, because that is really what happened. And he penned a wonderful story explaining the impact on his mental health that did. So, shout out to John Wall. He's back. Clippers, though, lose to the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are 3-0 and really deep. Man. So there you go. All the scores and games from the weekend. Now, I want to thank our sponsor, slamgoods.com. You can head over there. If you look up top, it's there. Fellas, if she ain't wearing your hoodie, step your game up. Head over there, and you can pick one up 15% off using the promo code HoopSpaces. They have like 4 that are on sale. You get 15% off. They have 5 that aren't on sale. You get 15% off. They also have a sweet bomber jacket too. Like if you like jackets, go over there. Hoop Spaces, promo code, save money, free money. That's what a coupon is. That's what a promo code is. It's free money for you. Also, if you miss any section of the show, you can head over to YouTube. Usually about 4 to 6 hours after the show, it's posted, powered by audiolabs.io. And that way you can catch up on anything that you missed in the Hoop Spaces community. All right, there, man. 15-minute open. What y'all think? Was that good? Give me an emoji. I'm trying to see where we need to be once the season opens up next week. All right, nothing but heat. Scott, Mike is up here. If you want a mic, go ahead and request it. Shout out to the Locker Room, a.k.a. NBA Film Spaces, our man, Gifted X Blade, Derek Stein, and others in the building. We'll get his space up there because I know he's going to have a wonderful one. Malika Walker's in the building. She is the host of The Rewind. Absolute phenomenal show that she's going to have about the Redeem Team documentary that just came out. KP's coming up on stage, ladies and gentlemen. Last night, another successful KP Was Right rebranding space, going over all your pop culture needs with House of the Dragon and a couple of other things, including his weird obsession about the Google Pixel phone. But we'll get to that in a second. Up next, your thoughts on any of the NBA action over the weekend, and we'll get to news and notes in about a half an hour's time. We'll open it up with Micah first, then KP, and we'll bounce back to Scott. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Chris. Man, all I'm going to say is thank God for basketball. That NFL is looking terrible. Terrible. Golly, I've been watching the football for 30 years. I don't remember it being this bad. Like, they need to, it shouldn't be the NFC no more. It should be the MFC for mid-football conference. But anyways, that's besides the point. I caught a few of the preseason games over the weekend. Not much to see. And look, I don't know who is going to lie to themselves more about their former player being talented. The Dallas Mavericks with Jalen Brunson or the Rockets with Christian Wood. Like, just stop it. Let him go. Let him go. He's not on your team. Okay, maybe he probably has a chance to win with us more than he did with y'all because our star player doesn't get cooked by 8-year-olds in camp. Sorry, it is what it is. Just live with it. We got a decent player. Y'all got what you thought you could get. Move on. But that's all I got.
Man, shots fired already. Rockets and Mavs fans going at it. I love it. There's going to be some Mavs fans that disagree with you pretty quickly, I think, because what'll happen is you'll see what the Rockets fans talk about Christian Wood, and he'll give you a game of 24 and 10, and then he'll give you a game where he takes 20 shots and misses 17. Like that was what Rockets fans are talking about. So like they're still kind of bitter about that because when they got him, they thought like you thought that he was going to be a missing piece to help make them compete. But hey, I love Jalen Brunson, and I think Dallas is really going to regret not giving him the bag when they had the opportunity, right? Like, that's going to hurt. Danny D's also joined us. We'll go to KP next, and then we'll hit up Scott to talk some Heat and some other basketball. KP, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, Chris. Appreciate you letting me up. I just want to send a condolences to the Targaryen family as a whole. Long live the king. The king is dead. Shout out to Viserys. You was a great guy. He's a great dad. He was a terrible king in war times, but shout out to Viserys Targaryen. He did a great job in a whole roundabout. His true shooting percentage, his true dragon percentages through the roof. I want to say something about the Laker game against the Warriors because I'm trying to stay focused because you know me, I go on a tangent. Shout out to the Lakers for winning a game that I think this is their first game they won in 6 months, Chris? Like I don't know how many losses they took last year, but it was a lot of those. But shout out to the Lakers finally winning a game. They got some young legs. They got rid of all the old guys. Smart move. Shout out to Jordan Poole making them guys look really silly. It's a pool party all year long. Everyone to get their swimming trunks, or if you got a swimsuit, drop that. Put money on that too. Guarantee win opening day, ring night. These Lakers are trash. Anthony Davis looked okay, but when he is the focal point when it's him only on the court, he can look good. When LeBron is pounding the ball, pause. When he's pounding the ball, AD is going to be like a ghost. So the Warriors are going to look great. Draymond didn't play. Clay didn't play. Steph was good. He had over 20. Poole had 20, 25, 18 in the third. It's fine. It's preseason. When the rings come out, it's going to be a fun night. So shout out to the Lakers, man. You guys extended your GM. Great job. You gave him 4 more years. So it's 4 more years of hell, 4 more years of degradation, 4 more years of slander. If I'm still on this app, you Lakers fans will know my name. And then lastly, every Sunday at 10:05, after the show is over, we are covering the House of the Dragon. KP was right. Rebranded. And then also, Chris, my Google Pixel phone is the best phone on the market. Takes the best pictures. It's about to do the best video. It's the best virtual assistant. It's the best voice recorder. It's the best texting apparatus. And yeah, man, get rid of your iPhones. They've been holding you guys down, holding you guys back, giving you guys a lot of bad news in your life. So get rid of your iPhones, get yourself a Pixel. Your life will be better.
All right, there you go. Make sure you tap in. And I know some of y'all weren't expecting that. So generally speaking, since we talk basketball, like I ain't gonna stop or spoil it unless it's something that I know that I'm gonna watch. Right? I don't even know if I'm gonna watch The House of the Dragon. I just don't. Like I'm like 6 years behind on TV shows and movies. But
Chris,
make sure
the books have been out for about over 10 years, so it's not really a spoiler.
Yeah, I know. I'm not actually a fan of his writing, either.
No wonder you got an iPhone.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, hey, it is what it is on that aspect. 10:05 after the show. Make sure you tap in. Talk House of the Dragon. Hey, you also got some news getting ready to come out. I thought maybe, or maybe that was gifted. I don't remember. Had a long weekend. All right, we've got Danny D up here. Nicole's joined us also on stage, but up next we got Scott, and he referred to me as an instigator earlier. I'm gonna put this up here in the jumbotron of what he's referring to. I asked the question. There's context to the question, but of course, because Twitter is Twitter, when I put the initial question up there, like I didn't provide the context, and like the replies have been hilarious. Question is, Jordan Poole or Tyler Hero?
Twitter doesn't care about context.
You're right, Scott. They don't. But here's the context. What would Tyler Hero do if he was in Golden State? You're right. What would Tyler Hero be had he been drafted by Golden State in Jordan Poole's position? And how would Jordan Poole be if he was drafted in Tyler Hero's position in Miami? Was the question. That question was actually asked to me by a Warriors fan because we were just talking. But because I didn't put the context out there, it grew in a life of its own. So, Scott, real quick, you talked about this last night. Tyler Hero, Jordan Poole. We'll take your thoughts, and then we have Danny D, who's also a Warriors fan, and she will come back with the retort. Scott, floor is yours. Good morning.
I come in peace here. Let's talk a little bit about Jordan Poole and Tyler Hero. Both of these guys have one thing in common. They ended up at the right organization that would enhance and develop their games the best. Jordan Poole at Golden State had the leadership. He saw the players around him. He had the right environment to get his talent going. Tyler Hero ended up in heat culture. If he was anywhere else, he would not get this far, this fast. Now, I think both players would agree to this. But you have two different styles of play. You got a Hero who is a mid-range jumper freak. He's a fanatic. He learned the game to score at all three levels. That was what was going to make him a 30-point scorer. He's not going to score 30 points a game dunking. He's not going to score 30 points a game just shooting threes. He had to learn all facets of the game, and that's what drew me to him. I'm a guy who just loves the mid-range game. If you can't hit the elbow jumpers, you're not going to achieve a lot of your goals, especially on the offensive end. Jordan Poole, he's a great talent. He's quick, got great feet. He's a slasher. He can do some things with the ball. But both of these guys are quality athletes. They both should be getting close to the next extension. Yes, Tyler Hero might have set the market for Jordan Poole, but Jordan Poole has done his thing. But to see people just say Jordan Poole is miles ahead of Tyler Hero, that just gets a little bit arbitrarily insane. But then if you look at Tyler Hero and his trajectory, you look at Jordan Poole and his trajectory, these guys are going to continue to get better, but their ceiling won't end next year. It won't end the year after. They've got 3 and 4 more years of growth. So that's what we have to really look at. And if you look at the total game, yeah, I can see you can make an argument for either one, but I'm biased. I'm a Heat fan, so I'm going to take Tyler Hero's entire package right now.
All right, see, there you go. Like, that's how easy it is. That's what we want. We want your thoughts and your opinion, not just some outlandish statement like some of these people love to put out there. There was a couple of bangers on it. I was laughing, not gonna lie. Danny D Good morning. How are you? Your thoughts on any of the NBA action and your thoughts on Tyler Hero, Jordan Poole?
Good morning, Chris. Good morning, everyone. I watched a little bit of the Bulls and Raptors game. Um, the Raptors look really good. I give them credit. They seem to have everything together. Um, I do agree. Chicago gonna need something else. I don't know what it is yet, but they need a couple more pieces. I can see them doing a trade before the trade deadline. Um, Tyler Hero or Jordan Poole? I'm going to say Poole because I've been watching him since he played at Michigan. I knew he went to the right team for him for the right development. I saw what he could be. I knew he had a rough patch the first year or two, but I saw the growth. I saw the potential, and um, it's come to light now, and um, he's one of the reasons why they won the chip last year. So of course I would choose him over Tyler. No disrespect to Tyler. Tyler's good. He in the place that he want to be, down there at South Beach, with the beach erosions and all that kind of stuff. So he's in the right place where he's supposed to be. No shade.
Yeah, no shade, sure.
But build your houses better. Y'all know where y'all at down there in Florida. No disrespect. But build your homes better. And build them higher. Don't build them on marshes surrounded by water. That's another story for another day. Um, Last night's game, it was a good game. I thought the way Laker fans were acting last night, like we got beat down by 20 or something. Man, I went to a space and I was just listening, just get just to get a feel. I mean, y'all more worried about us than the team that you need to be talking to. That y'all, I think y'all still share your roommates down there at the Staples Center, the Clippers. I feel like y'all should be more worried about them than us. And I've heard crazy out pocket comments like, "Oh, that organization up there, they up there hitting each other, and we would never do that." The stories I heard about Lakers practice, y'all have done that. Shoot, y'all had a brother and sister fighting over the team. That was almost like House of the Dragon right there. A live episode of that. Um, you know, we had a bad week. It would have been nice to handle that eternally, but it happens, and it's how you respond. And that team responded. They look good. You only won by three. Yeah, Anthony Davis looked good, but Anthony Davis, his back is still kind of tight. I don't care who comes off that bench. If LeBron and them all start, y'all just got to do better than what y'all did last year. So it is what it is with y'all. James Wiseman looked good. I mean, I heard like, oh, Looney can't stop AD. It's not about stopping AD. It's I'll let him score all day. He ain't no Wilt Chamberlain. He ain't gonna put up 100 points. The question is, can he play back to back games? Is he going to be hurt? Where's the consistency? Because he works better when the ball stoppers are not in the game. Now, when you got your ball stoppers in the game, aka Westbrook, I'm gonna be nice this year. I'm not gonna refer to him by his other name. LeBron, I like to defend when I feel like it. James, and all that good stuff. But it is what it
You
is.
you you do realize like
Yes, yes.
70% of the players in the league play defense when they want to play defense.
Yeah, they do. That's true. They all do. All do, but they like to talk about my Steph like he don't play defense. But okay, so be it. But cats be hunting out LeBron because they know LeBron gonna let them have free way layup. But I just want people to remember that.
Nah.
I'm just saying. I know people play when they want to. It's preseason, y'all. Preseason is where you look at the Kings. I know why we lost that game. We had too many turnovers. Turnovers is our Achilles heel. It's always been that. You don't have a Clay. I want to keep Draymond. We don't have Draymond, but I don't think how can I say it respectfully? We need Draymond. We don't need Draymond. Put it to you like that. You could take that how you want to. But at the end of the day, it's preseason, y'all. It's preseason meant to see who you're gonna take to you with you during the regular season, who you're gonna send to the G League. Too bad we have more PBJ, but I can see the future with him. He's really good. I like him. I call him a taller version of Klay Thompson because I swear to God, they almost look alike. Like they could be distant cousins. Other than that, I'm not gonna keep on rambling.
All right.
iPhone is still better. Yes, upgrade to a 14 Pro. And I'm enjoying my new phone. There you
All right.
go.
All right. We got Gifted Blade up here on stage as well with Micah Scott and Danny D. We've got people down below. Look, I saw. God, I watched every game, so I shouldn't. I watched every game, 3 of them live, 2 of them I watched this morning. Yeah, I'm not sold on the Lakers beyond maybe the 6th seed. I know that a lot of Lakers fans like what they saw. I don't see that happening when all other team starters are playing their representative starter minutes, right?
Right.
So can they get to the 6th seed? I think they can. I think if there are teams with injuries, they could creep up. And I also think that there are some teams that are going to have way more issues than the Lakers. Phoenix comes to mind, to be honest. So, like the idea that they're back, I'm going to say, yeah, they're going to be back and extremely competitive this year. And I think what you heard last night, and full disclosure, like I know some of them, they were going to do that regardless. Like that wasn't anything but for them to be a fun space, and then it became, what it was. Up on stage, also host.
Oh, I can't find it.
Host of So You Think You're a GM, and host of Benchwarmers, Nat, who's a Reese Rebel, 31 is the handle. Diehard Celtics fans going to give you some objectivity you're lacking because she's dope. But we're going to go to Gifted X Blade on the NBA Film Spaces handle to check out the locker room, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you shoot a follow to get your evening basketball fix. Gifted, good morning. Your thoughts on Tyler Hero, Jordan Poole, and anything you saw in this weekend of basketball?
Yeah, so quick thoughts on Tyler Hero, Jordan Poole. I think Tyler Hero had a very productive season last year for the Miami Heat. However, I would say Jordan Poole is better. The reason why I would say that is the constant improvements you've seen from Poole from year to year to year. He has yet to take a step back in his progression as a player. I also think that Poole has a quicker burst as far as how fast he is with the ball in his hands than Tyler Hero does. I think Tyler Hero is the more efficient catch and shoot player, but I think Poole takes more volume
Here we
on
go.
his threes than Tyler. So for me, I would actually say Poole is better. I don't really think it's by a crazy margin, but I do think how Tyler played in the playoffs last year in comparison to Poole does weigh in on this as well. So I would lean Poole over Tyler.
All right. Yeah, no, I understand. And it's also play style. Scott alluded to it earlier. It also depends upon how you prefer your shooting guard or your combo guard play style. Micah, go ahead. Your hands up, and then we're going to go to Reese Rebel 31, our girl Nat, and get her thoughts. Go ahead, Micah.
And only thing is, okay, so if we're talking Hero and Poole, here's a question. If, say, Jimmy Butler sustained a 2-week injury, could Tyler Hero keep him afloat? Because that's what Jordan Poole did last season. When Steph went down, I, as a Mavs fan, I was like, all giddy, like, oh, we getting that 3 seed now. And then Jordan Poole came out there firing and kept him afloat. So I look at that as a main difference.
He did. Jimmy Butler only played 57 games last season. Tyler Hero played more, and when Jimmy Butler was out, Tyler Hero was the offense because when Jimmy Butler's in, Jimmy Butler is the offense. So like the same thing happened with Tyler Hero and Jordan Poole. The main guy went out. They both stepped in, stepped up, and they both performed. That's why I was saying like this is an actual interesting conversation.
And they're very comparable.
Yeah. If you get out of biasism, Scott, your hand was up. We'll go to you. Then I think Gifted's got something he wants to add in here after Nat. You have a reply, Scott, because I saw your hand go up.
No, I think the last guy just made a great point. I mean, when Jimmy Butler went down and Bam the FDA was out, one game that stood out for me, and I guess all the pool party knows this, was the Phoenix Suns on the road where Hell just ballistic went off for more than 30 points and helped carry the Heat to a victory on the road. And the Suns had a full roster at that time. So, yeah, there's times during the season when you've got to step up. And if you think the Miami Heat were going to have a number one seed without Hell's performance over the season, the kid was 21 years old at that age, and yes, Poole is young too. But to say that Hell can't carry a team when their stars go out is just ridiculous.
Also, Hero's 1 year younger, and from in March is when he lost both Bam and Butler. He averaged 22, 5, and 4. When both Jimmy Butler and Bam was out. All right, Nat, you're up. Good morning. Look, y'all need to shoot her a follow. Clear, pure basketball talk, all objectivity. If you've got some issues with what she says, it's probably because you're wrong. Nat, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, Chris. Good morning, everyone. I would pick Jordan Poole. I'm a fan of Jordan Poole. That's an easy no-brainer for me. I like his game a lot. I think I like his playmaking ability a little bit more. I like the slashing that he does. His shot is nice. I just like Jordan Poole more. So that's who I would choose. I'm also, I support Golden State. Try to keep that quiet though, y'all. But yeah, Jordan Poole for me. I like preseason. Really excited. So many players are coming back from injury and who haven't been playing in a year or 2 years. This is going to be so fun. It's going to be nice seeing the Clippers at full strength and and Kawhi and Paul George and John Wall. I'm rooting for John Wall. I want him to have a great season. I don't live in 2015 and in 2005 where like the Clippers haven't won anything. If you're back there, I'm not going back there with you. I'm staying in the present, and they have as good a chance of anybody of winning this season. It's going to be a fight in the West, but I think that the Lakers, they're a 6th or a 7th seed, because I think that just the rest of the West, a lot of those teams have gotten so much better, and a lot of it is health, but the rest of the team is intact and with the talent, in which I think the talent will take off and separate themselves, once we get to the postseason. So 6th or 7th seed, but that is a change from last season. They didn't even, make the play in. So that's good for them, So I think that they'll be, probably a second round exit, maybe a first round exit. And that's that. But they're very excited for the West and a lot of these teams. And Denver, that's the team I'm looking at as a 1 seed. I think that they have the personnel to do so, and probably Clippers and then Golden State right after. But thanks, Chris.
Yeah, before you go, let's hop in here real quick because you
What's
are
up?
a Celtics fan,
Absolutely.
right? He's gone for a year. Personally, I've said in the group chat. I ain't gonna say it here,
Mhm.
but you guys are so deep with the addition of Derek White last year and the
Yes.
addition of Malcolm Brogdon this year.
Yes.
I don't see a precipitous decline here. You might lose a few games extra because I do think Ime is a fantastic communicator and coach for basketball. Your thoughts so far, the 2-1 Boston Celtics preseason?
I love what I see from the team. They're picking up where they left off last year, and I do want to, shed some light on something. The first 3 or 4 months of Ime Udoka, the Celtics were terrible. They were losing games that they should have won. They were just bad. And that was with Ime Udoka, with him as the coach. I think that this year we have a better start, because now we understand who we are. We have an identity. People are coming into their own. They know how to score. now the guys who weren't defenders before are defenders now. And people are going to take a step up. And then now we have the guards and the versatility. The only thing I'm looking at now is health and how does the 4 and the 5 hold up, because I think I've been pretty vocal in saying something that could come back to bite us and haunt us is riding on the coattails of a 37, 38-year-old Al Horford, thinking that you're going to ride him all the way to the postseason and he's going to turn into, vintage Kevin Garnett or some shit like that. It's just ridiculous. I think that at some point through the season, there needs to be another trade, and you just got to figure out what guard you want to keep and actually get a big man that can move and is about 10 years younger, and you don't have to kill Al Horford. Al Horford is not going to take us back to the finals, and I really hope they understand that.
Man, I love it. I want to give everybody down below some heads up here. When you look at the Boston Celtics roster and you look at the centers and forwards, it is a scary sight. Currently, right now, the best big man in Boston is Jason Tatum.
You got to respect my man Caballelli, man. Respect him, Chris.
Gifted. Why do we gotta do these jokes?
I'm so serious. He's a spark plug.
A spark.
I mean that.
A spark plug.
What are we sparking? Let's stop it, Gifted. Like, we gotta get some real talent, because right now I'm saying not even talent. So we gotta get some youth, man, at that 4 and 5 position. We got Robert Williams there, who this man, he hurt every year. I'm like, can y'all not see like what's going on, and like a foreshadowing of how the next few years are going to go? Please be smart. And I'm wondering, if all these guards that we did get, Malcolm Brogdon looked great. He fit in so well. He came off the bench and I think it was like 11 and 6, and I'm like, well, there you go. Like, that was simple. That was off the bench. He makes easier passes. There are things that Marcus Smart forces because he's not a natural point guard, that Malcolm Brogdon was just a lot easier for him, and it was the offense ran smoother. I really think that he's going to wind up being the starting point guard. I think it's common sense, to be honest with you, and got to take that ball out of Marcus Smart's hand and let him play off ball. Off ball, Marcus Smart is better than on ball Marcus Smart. So that's what I want to see, but I really do think that one of those guards are gone in a trade at some point this year.
All right, you got some time for some early morning trivia?
Yes, I do.
All right, let me hit the button. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're doing some trivia. I've talked to Ryan. We're also going to possibly rework something here to add it in here. But today is Know Your Forwards, Boston Celtics edition, with our girl at Reese Rebel 31, the handle you need to follow. Are you ready? I am going to give you the college of a forward on the Celtics. You will tell me the name of the player. University of Maryland. Second round pick from the Orlando Magic. 6'8". Jake Layman. Jake Layman. All right. Okay. Here's an easy one. Oklahoma. First round pick, first overall by the Clippers. University of Oklahoma, first round pick, first overall, Los Angeles Clippers.
I don't know.
Blake Griffin.
Blake Griffin. Yep.
Okay, you're right.
North Carolina.
Y'all got this one.
First round, 15 pick, Portland. 6'8". Played on several teams. Nope.
No.
Justin Jackson. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Your Boston Celtics forwards.
See,
also, Sam Hauser, Noah Vonleh, and Luka Samanic is also in there.
I mean, Sam Hauser might be him though.
See, that's the jokes that I'm talking about. Like, I don't do that to Gifted. Like, I don't. Like, I'm very positive.
I'm not even, bro. Okay. Listen, that you might think I'm joking on some of these days, but I really do feel like Caballelli can be a nice little spark plug, and Sam Hauser can come in, knock down some shots. Do you
All
want to
right.
rely on them heavily? No.
Kappa who?
Sam Hauser is it. Is that what you just said? I love that.
Yeah, he says. I think he said he's him.
He's
Is
him.
He's him. When somebody says he's him, I know they trolling me because 9 times out of 10, it's not a him in sight. So now I'm looking at Hauser. I'm like, yeah, he knocked down some shots. I'm like, if I put him in for 8 minutes, Chris, I'd probably be good. But you put him in for 12, 13 minutes or something, and say, okay, now you got to play defense or something or do more. That's when you start seeing things fall apart. We need a big man. Like, come on, Celtics fans, come with me now.
Noah Vonleh, ladies and gentlemen, University of Indiana. Go Hoosiers. Speaking of somebody who can be him, did you know that Matt Ryan stopped playing quarterback and then started playing basketball? No, it's actually a different Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan last night for the Los Angeles Lakers in 20 minutes, 6 for 9 from downtown, 20 points. Who knows where Matt Ryan went to school? We'll go to Micah. Micah, what's up?
Oh man, no, I don't know where Matt Ryan's at. I just had a clue. Did you say Justin Jackson?
Yeah.
Oh man, they are down bad. Lord help them. Hey, some of these former Dallas players, I hear people trying to lie to themselves about it. Like, I heard some Clippers fans try to lie to themselves about Moses Brown. And I was like, ooh, do I need to tell them or let them find out?
Just let him find out. He's only going to get backup minutes anyway. All right, down below, I want to give some shout outs. I see Emily Austin in the building. Iman Adan from Yahoo Sports Canada is in the building as well. Check out the best Femme Fatale podcast on basketball, Dishes and Dimes, with the lovely ladies up north. Check it out. It's really dope. Emily Austin, if you haven't seen the interview she did during Summer League, go to her page. Check out, what Chet Holmgren said. Like, he had a phenomenal Scottie Pippen Jr. Interview as well, who also played last night for the Lakers, who were victorious over the Golden State Warriors. And we are here on Overreaction Monday to talk Lakers if you want to. Up next, though, we've got a good question with Malika Walker. And the question is, are you even going to watch Charlotte Hornets this year? Because I don't think you will.
No. I think, and no, because I think that I haven't, like once Miles Bridges went down, I don't know, like them not doing anything in the off season. I think that it was intentional. So this season is going to look like they're not tanking, but I think they are. And
They definitely taking.
I will not be wasting my time. But this season. But I do hope it's not for nothing, because the luck is usually not on his side, on the side of the Hornets. I hope it works out and they get at least one of those top picks. That's all I got to say about that. But, an overreaction Monday, I do think that the Lakers got to find with Scottie Pippen Jr. Like, that kid looks, he looks like, to be undrafted. I mean, he's playing better than some of these guys that were drafted. I mean, am I wrong here? Like, he looks pretty decent.
You know what, Malika? I thought he looked good too, but then I had to think, right? Didn't THT look pretty damn good? And then all of a sudden the shit just fell apart.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that.
I agree, but was
Is that just
Don't do
me?
THT
that, Matt. Don't do that.
undrafted?
I'm sorry. Okay.
I mean, was THT undrafted? That's my thing. Like, Scottie Pippen Jr. is undrafted.
I mean, he's
So any
undrafted,
improvement he
but
shows is going to be
I
like,
mean, they
nobody
was
gave him a
hype
shot.
about THT though. They was like, man, he's
They
him.
was, but with
He's
Scottie
him.
Pippen Jr., I mean, my
That is
interest is
nasty.
peaked. I'm not comparing him to that, but I do think that my interest is peaked with him being undrafted and what he can do. I'll be watching him moving forward, and not even the pedigree, not even like who his father is or nothing like that. I'm a fan of Scotty as a basketball player, not since he run his mouth about everything else, but like he does come from, coached and come from some good stock, and he looks pretty good. Like, so I'm curious to see. Um, I usually check out the undrafted like to track the undrafted free agents, and he's an undrafted free agent that looks like he's gonna pan out in the second round draft picks. I look at them too. So that's my overreaction that I think Scottie Pippen's going to be all right. He won't make the squad this year, but maybe next year, maybe they'll look at him. I mean, they ain't gonna they can't lose. Like looking with their top heavy next year. Actually, they won't be as much. They'll have 47 million all of a sudden that's available to them. But we'll see.
Yeah, I tell you what, Charlotte is in such a bad spot. Um, I think they are tanking too. Like I honestly think that uh, Terry Rozier could be gone. I
I think they're
know
going to
that.
blow it up. I
Yeah,
think they're going to blow it up at
I
the end of the season. I think this is what they were planning, and I think that they're fuck it. Let's not do anything. Go for Wimbayana, blow it up. They can trade Terry Rozier. It's a tradable contract. Gordon Hayward will be on his last year. If he performs different, if he performs decent, they can get rid of him, and let's start over. Fuck it. I think that's where they are, and I just think they haven't announced it yet. That's why Kupchak is not doing interviews. I think it's just a plan, and hey, it may work, but
all
it
right.
may not.
So
Malika, you
I
got to watch some games though, man. Lamelo gonna be nice this year, and also
No,
mm,
Kai too.
Lamelo gonna
Kai
have
Jones
his
gonna be hooping.
stats.
Yeah,
Lamelo gonna have his stats, but
book night
Lamelo ain't
too.
gonna have no help
you know
because
what's really
that they'll if they start winning some games, who's getting sat down for injury. Gordon Hayward ass all of a sudden gonna have an injury. He gonna sit down.
And
Like
then book night gonna come
they
in with
will
JT
not be
Thor.
winning a lot of games this year.
oh
This is
What'd you
yo
say?
crazy. You
I
can't
don't
let
I
him
don't
do that, Chris.
I don't know I think Book Knight needs to get out of Charlotte.
I
Um,
think book night might
Book Knight
need to get
doesn't
out
look
the
good.
NBA.
Bryce
I don't know.
McGowan's looks better than he does, and
I'm
Bryce McGowan's look good in the
I'm a
limited
fan of
minutes he
Bryce.
played.
I might take Leangelo Ball over book night. I'll be
so
No,
real.
look,
Stop
so
that.
nah.
this
Leangelo
is
Ball is but Bryce McGowan's the second round pick. He actually, he got something there. He showed something, so it's gonna
yeah.
be interesting seeing him. But they'll let him develop. They don't, they'll let him develop out in Greensboro next season. I think. I mean, he's piquing my interest more than Book Knight. I see why Borrego didn't play Book Knight. He's not there.
Hey, and well, this is also another reason why you should have a red flag. Dennis Smith Jr. is listed ahead on the depth chart.
He is.
Yeah,
Look, I think the same way that we celebrate Scotty and just how good he looks, there's aspects of the NBA that just transcend uh, your talent level. Your preparedness for coming into the league, both mentally and physically, are huge pieces to that, right? What worries me about the Hornets,
Did
unlike
that stop the
OKC,
conversation?
no, you just don't hear him, Danny. Keep going, Tony.
what worries me about the Hornets, unlike OKC, is that they're having their players at an extremely young age already get accustomed to losing. So I kind of get it with Melo. You can keep him as a centerpiece. It worries me a little bit though, because how many years is this kid going to be in the league before they're trying to win games? And then at that point,
Well, Shy is hanging in there with OKC, and he apparently he's not moving this year. So, I mean,
I know I
he'll be
feel
all
like
right.
he's moving. I feel like he's moving, Malika. I don't see a way
I
that
don't
you
know.
you lose for 3, 4, 5 years with a guy and then think that you can keep him as a centerpiece. I mean, Philly is the only
Money
example of that
talks.
ever happening.
Well, I can tell you with pretty good certainty, Sam Presti will trade anybody on that roster.
Golden State.
Like
Yeah,
Sam
Golden State
Presti
too.
will trade whomever. Like they don't care.
I agree though. I think the Hornets are going to blow it up. Like I think they have to. And plus, the coach doesn't seem right. Like a lot of stuff in Charlotte seems like they're just treading water.
I don't know
Mm.
why they signed that coach, man. That coach is mid, sadly.
No, Steve Clifford is not mid. I actually, like for you, he's actually a pretty. I like Steve Clifford.
I like Steve Clifford
Steve
too.
Clifford. I like Steve Clifford. And he's good for a young squad too. I like him. I just think
He,
that they didn't give him anything to mess. They didn't give him anything to work with really.
he,
But I think he's just there for a brief. I think he's there. That's why he's on a limited contract. He's there, and I think next summer is when they're going to blow it up. That's
Yeah,
personally what I think.
you know what? They could have had Sam Cassell.
They could have, but I think there's something else going on with the
But they
Sam
don't play
Cassell.
any defense, Chris. They teams score 145 points on them. What's Sam Cassell gonna fix?
Uh, I just want Sam Cassell to be a head coach in the NBA. Honestly, that's like
Oh,
any.
so it's basically you having a agenda.
Yeah,
Got it.
well, at this point, like I
I
was
want Sam
watching.
Cassell to have something to work with, though. This
Yeah,
season, I think there's a plan. We know what it is. I want him to have something to work with. Now, next season, he'll have something to work with. I think that after everything is blown up, I think next season, they'll have something to work with. But this season, absolutely not. I mean, don't waste Sam Cassell's time. But he should get a head coaching job somewhere. There's no reason why he should be
so
sitting on
I
somebody's bench.
I was watching the interview he did with KG, right? And one of the things that everybody always says that they want to look for in a head coach is good open communication. You know, clear, distinctive, forward-moving progression. All these buzzwords. Like Sam Cassell is just real basketball, but he's able to get players to buy in and lead them. He's led them as an assistant coach and a player for so long, and it just kind of boggles my mind because like you go on the circuit for coaches, and then you get jumped over by Chauncey Billups, and like I'm sitting here like at what point can he get a thing? So I was looking back at all the coaches that have been hired. And I just it's insanity. I just don't know why he doesn't get a shot. So yeah, it's a little bit of a.
I think that works when you have a coach that needs to emotionally rally his players in. A coach that needs to lead the squad, not a coach that needs to actually develop players. Like I don't want Sam Cassell being, to Malika's point, I never want him being the coach of the Hornets right now. I would hate that. I would hate that for
Not
him
right
and his
now.
career.
That's why I think Steve Clifford is there. But next year I think they are going to blow it up. So
All right.
we'll see.
All right, let's move on. The voice you heard hopping on stage, that wasn't Malika. That is Tony Schwartz, NBA. That's the handle that you should follow. Heat fan and life enthusiast. Tony, good morning. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I hate when you set these expectations for me, life enthusiast, and then I'm on the timeline losing my mind when the Eagles can't score in the second half. But I'm doing great, bro. It's good to be here.
All right, question. Tyler Hero, Jordan Poole.
Well, why do you so
Nah, Tony.
You're
Nah,
good.
Tony. Answer his question, Tony.
Let's hear it, Tony. Let's
Answer
hear
his
it.
question, Tony. Just answer the question.
Bro. Let me
Answer
let
the
y'all in on
question,
some
Tony.
context. Chris sits in our group chat, sits there and just waits for arguments to be started, and then immediately writes them down, and then runs to his polls every morning, dude. And this one was real nasty because he dropped it at 11 p.m. and it still got interactions, and that's what made me mad. I'm like, you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing.
You still haven't answered the question though.
Yeah, there's to me, it's not really too much of a different tier. These are players that are very similar. They can score the ball at three levels in the same type of way. I think Jordan Poole tends to be a little less versatile. I've seen Tyler take players off the block. I've seen Tyler. He likes to drive that baseline right side, strong side, and put up a runner. I've seen him do more with the ball in his hands than Jordan Poole can. Jordan Poole also stretched that shit out to 42. So I think that it's just a play style thing, and you have to kind of determine how you like your player to fit around other players. The one thing I want to see from Jordan Poole, though, is that thing that Tyler's picked up last year where he's kind of like blitzing the screens and getting his body into passing lanes. They're both piss poor defenders, both of them. And you have to use all of your IQ and acumen as a defender when you don't have the intangibles to work with you. And Tyler's starting to just throw his whole body into passing lanes to stop offensive actions, or at least delay offensive actions, or get them going somewhere else than they wanted to go. And I think that that's the best thing for his development. So I kind of want to see stuff like that from Jordan Poole. I'm obviously a Heat fan. I'm watching the Sixth Man of the Year. I think Tyler gets that until Jordan Poole dethrones him. And that's just where it is.
All right, see, good answer. Like, how hard was that? I don't think that was hard. I thought that was well done. Everybody give him a round of applause, man.
I thought Tyler was going to start this year. Fuck him.
He is starting this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's starting this year. That's yeah. All right.
You know what? Hold on. This is also nasty by Gifted too, because he knows I'm running a narrative right now to try and blow up the Golden State Warriors, where I think Jordan Poole's the player on the Golden State Warriors. So this is really nasty that he tried to push me forward. But I digress.
There you go. I see what this is. This is gamesmanship. I see. We've got a new player up here on the stage by the name of Eli. Eli, what's up? Thanks for finding us here. We do ask a favor that you just like and retweet the show card. It's the very first tweet up in the Jumbotron. Shoot everybody up on stage a follow. And after you, we're going to go ahead and reset the room, and we're going to talk some Raptors and some Pelicans. Like, they were really impressive until, the fourth quarter for Toronto. Then, they just went away. Eli, what do you have? Jordan Poole, Tyler Hero, and what do you have on the weekend that was the NBA?
Listen, man, we always ask these conflated big boy questions, bro. Like, why are you asking me about Tyler Hero and Jordan Poole when I want to talk about Jamal Cain? I don't know why, but I think Poole is, even as a Heat fan, I think Poole is like pretty clearly better. Like, he's just better at the sport, bro. Like, he's a better passer. He's probably a worse pull-up shooter than Tyler, but neither one of them from three are like great pull-up shooters. His floater, like, their floaters are like indistinguishable. I think Jordan just has like a better shot diet. Like, he takes smarter shots.
Jordan Poole has a. I'm gonna let you finish. You're like, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's literally, bro. Tyler takes too many of those. He takes too many of those long twos for my liking, bro. I can't. It really pisses me off when he takes those, man. Like, I hate it.
I feel you.
And Jordan has cut long twos completely out of his scoring diet, and that's like a recipe for more efficient scoring. Like, that's, you know what I'm saying? But he still got that. You know what I'm saying? That's still a counter in his game. He can still pull from, deep mid range. But yeah, bro. Like,
but you wanna talk about University of Oakland's own Jamal Cain, though? What do you got for Jamal Cain?
I love that man, bro. Like, it's just something about him, bro. Like, watching Jamal Cain just like run off of a down screen and like catch a lob. As like, how tall is he? Like 6'4"? Is like really fucking. It's funny. It's funny as fucking. It's like, damn, bro. This is almost like Jimmy, but if like Jimmy had like no on ball talent, just like Jimmy the cutter, Jimmy the lob threat. Like, it's fun. It's so fun to just watch like a 6'4" person be like, yeah, I'm going to grab this like multiple inches behind my head and like slam it down like after a shitty lob. Like, it shouldn't be possible.
That's a fact, Eli.
Eli's favorite player is Derrick Jones Jr.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, that sounds a lot like Derrick Jones Jr.
Bro, Derrick Jones Jr. is like 6'7", though. It's less impressive. But Gary Payton.
Yeah, nah, he talking more like maybe Gary Payton too.
Gary Payton is fun. I like Gary Payton. I just like, and then Bam was trying to gas him. Bam was like, the world gonna know who Jamal Cain is. Why do you know this nigga that much, bro? Like, that's crazy to me. Like, well, why have y'all had conversations, bro? You're Bam on bio, but
it's because they're both almost bald, bro.
Because they're both almost bald. That's funny.
Do me a favor, Eli. Be careful dropping the N-word. I gotta get this up on a podcast, so it has to change the rating. Yeah, I like Cain. I think he makes that last 10 day not the 10 day, the Exhibit 10 contract or two-way contract. Tony, you're kind of locked in. What have you heard?
They got it.
He already signed it.
He's already signed it. All right, cool.
Yeah, he already signed it. They brought back Mulder to fill out the G League roster, so he's there.
Yeah, Michael Mulder. He's
Lord, Michael Mulder, man.
I go Darius Days though.
I saw him drop.
He's gonna get picked up by somebody.
He always does, and he'll get like one random game and throw out 20 points with like 5 threes.
Yeah,
And
you'll
then
see
this
him shoot. You'll see him shoot like 6 for 7 from above the break in a game, and be like, "Damn, we need that."
All right, we've got another creator up here. I want to give some shout outs down below to others. Nelly J, ladies and gentlemen, co-host of the Good Rookies podcast and also Raptor Spaces and Raptors Live TV with Fahim for the Win is on stage to talk some Raptors. Evan Townsend of Project Spurs is down below. The pickup card game is in the building. The draft review is in the building, and all the people I mentioned, I urge you to follow. Look, basketball is now a year-long game, y'all. It is. So you might as well get used to it and get to know the people that are just as passionate as you are. And I'm going to take this time to say thank you to everybody who's spent even a minute here listening or joining in on the conversation. Because without you, we aren't here. So I'm very grateful. I'm very appreciative, just like every other creator is down below. And if you have stuff that you want to share, by all means, raise your hand. Come on up. We are sponsored by slamgoods.com. That's slamgoods.com. One of the other cool things that we were able to look at, because I spent some time on the weekend looking over different type of apparel things, stuff that I can try to, really work out. One of the cool things that they have is a whole bunch of collectibles or memorabilia, from Rewind Series magazine covers to static pictures and graphics. They are really trying to make it a little bit easier for you to express how you actually love the game. So head over to slamgoods.com and use promo code HoopSpaces to save 15% off of your entire purchase site wide, as I'm starting to get like 12 different messages. Apparently there's a player in the room. Shout out to you. We appreciate you coming through. All right, up next, though, we're going to move to Nelly J, and we're going to talk some Toronto Raptors. They lost last night, 115-98 to the Chicago Bulls. I'm not really worried about the final score. That first half was just pure domination. And I want to sing the praises of one OG and a newbie who had just two insane blocks yesterday on Zach LaVine. The first was a baseline step back, and the second one was right off the screen. And I've seen him play here at University of Indiana. I always thought he was going to be a great on-ball defender, but God, Zach LaVine could not do anything. OG is healthy. I'm excited, and I'm high on the Raptors. Nelly J, how high are you?
Listen, so high I can catch. Listen, I'm so high right now. So I was at the game last night, y'all. I was at that game. Chris, the way OG was defending, it's scary hours right now, bro. Like, I was amazed. First of all, folks didn't watch the game. We had 16 steals to their 4. 16, Chris. And it was crazy. Freddie was stealing, Siakam, Scotty, OG. It was a steal for everybody. You get a steal. You get a steal. Like, the Bulls in the first half, they were like, oh my gosh, this team got better. Our personnel didn't change, right? We had what? We added 1 or 2 people, but our team, everyone got better. That's what's scary, Chris, is that I'm seeing growth in everyone attacking the rim. Delano Banton, for those who know about that 6'9" guard, Chris, for me, his aggression, I've wanted that aggression all year long. He does it in the G League. Now I'm seeing it in the NBA preseason. Now, can he do it in the actual regular season? That was impressive for me. Also, I feel like in terms of just our 3-pointers, we're still struggling there. But if we attack the rim, Gary Trent Jr., the scorer of the team, like, Chris, whatever he wanted to do, he did it. Whenever he wanted to do it. Is that he could turn it off, on and off. So if he can continue that with Siakam, and if they can figure that out with Freddie as a shoot, like, listen, Chris, I am high on this Raptors. If you're a fan of Toronto Raptors, you'll be very excited. But I think if you're not a fan of Toronto, watch these games. This is a very exciting team to watch because they play good offense and good defense, Chris. So being at that game, wow, I am on a high. Whew,
Yeah,
thank you.
I'm a huge Delano Banton fan. And by the way, Bryce McGowan's the second round pick for Charlotte, Nebraska. Just like Delano Banton, they have a similar body frame and game. Like I love McGowan's in Charlotte. Like I really do. Also on Toronto, one thing that I really enjoyed seeing was their rookie, the center, Coloco out of Arizona. I didn't know if he was going to get run because to me it seemed pretty apparent that they're pretty set running Precious, Chris Boucher, and Kim Birch. I think he's going to be phenomenal in terms of like defensive help and rotations later on. But one thing that I was worried about was Precious Achua.
Me too. Me too.
Bad Precious showed up yesterday.
He did. He did. First class too. First class plane, Chris, on
Is
the
it
court.
bad Precious or just Precious?
It's
No,
bad Precious.
it's bad Precious. He wasn't, and to Chris's point, like Chris, you saw him going up to the rim, acting all flimsy. Like, bro, like you're a grown ass big man. Like, why are we acting like we are 5'11" here? Yeah, he wasn't playing aggressive at all. At all. It was pretty. At one point, I'm like, Precious, why are you on the court? If you're not gonna go up to dunk or attack the rim aggressively, you are a grown man. What's happening here, Chris? So I agree. He was awful last night.
Well, we'll go to Tony real quick because he also got to witness this firsthand.
No.
All right, we'll go to Amon and then we'll go to Jess. The one thing that really stood out, Precious Achua got a rebound. He went coast to coast, including a behind the back cross, and then somehow still managed to jump short, and then still managed to get the ball short to the rim. And like it was literally an eighth of an inch away from being an air ball runner. And the thing is nobody was in front of him until the last second. Like he kept going, that's an and one. And yeah, he just Iman, Jess, whoever wants to go first, go ahead.
Jess, sorry, I'm in the middle of something right now. Can you go first and I'll take over?
Yeah, no worries. I'm with Nelly. Like, I'm super high on this team. I'm super high on the Raptors. It is Thanksgiving in Canada. And you know what? I am thankful that Fred VanVleet clearly has that pep in his step back. I am thankful that Scotty Barnes is absolutely him. The tough turnaround fadeaways are in the building. The development is clearly happening. He is that guy, and I am excited. I am also so thankful that OG, don't you ever try to shoot a three in front of my face, Anunoby is in the building during the preseason, okay? Gary Trent Jr. is clearly a bucket, and there's been a lot of debate about, his fit on the Raptors. Should he start? Should he be on the bench? At this point, I'm saying he's clearly a microwave. He's a heater kind of guy. Like, and if the shot is falling at least a 40% clip, like we're gonna absolutely be in business. And so to me, I'm so excited. I was here a little earlier, Chris, when you were talking about, like the score, we're not even gonna worry about that because clearly we took our feet off the gas. Scotty got a little shaken up. Gary Trent got a little shaken up. We don't want injuries during the preseason. We'll handle Chicago when it matters. That's fine. But to me, what I thought was interesting was just how Nick Nurse already clearly has the defensive rotations on lock. There was a moment last night where I saw Gary Trent literally run. I think Chicago was trying to they were trying to call the play on the inbounds. And I saw Gary literally run from the middle of the paint to disrupt the inbounder, making whatever the play was that Chicago was trying to do, whatever DeMar was trying to do, and absolutely break up whatever they were doing. And I said, okay, no. Toronto we're not joking. We've been terrorizing teams all preseason. And so I am absolutely excited. I'm wishing nothing but health and safety for the boys because if we can stay on the court, I think we're gonna be top 5 as the floor in the East. So shout out to the Raptors.
Fred VanVleet took 12 3-pointers, y'all.
Not surprising.
He back. He gets him up. But he also got about 5 steals. 5 steals?
Yep,
okay.
5 steals.
I think with Fred, it was just that he looked like he actually had his legs.
Question while this guy's still talking.
Give us a second, Scott. Let Iman go, and then I'll go right to you.
Scott, by all means, go ahead.
Yeah, my question is this. The only thing I'm concerned with is the Raptors' depth. I think they are the most unheralded, untalked about team right now, and they scare me in the conference. So if they have
I can't hear
depth,
anything.
I
Is
think
it
they
just
can
me?
go a lot
Scott's
farther
talking.
than some people
He's
are talking about. So is depth still an issue for the Raptors this year?
I think it's less of an issue this year for a couple of reasons. One is they got out Otto Porter, which I think was a big get for them, and they also have Thaddeus Young, who they got at the second half of last season. First half of last season, they had a ton of depth issues, and then when Thaddeus Young did come, half of their guys were already hurt, so it kind of didn't feel like it fixed the issue. But now that they're coming in healthy, they have Otto Porter, they have Thaddeus Young. I think that's going to be really big. Also, Precious Achua. Scott, I believe you're a Heat fan. Your guy in the start of the season last year, he was a complete zero for the Raptors. Like you just couldn't play him on the offensive end because he was such a negative. And although Chris, I know you're mocking his push shot there. Listen, as a Precious Achua truther, as someone who believes he is the greatest basketball player in the entire world, point blank period. That here's the thing. That move was so nice leading up to it, like everything about it, and then he got scared. That push shot, he left it short because he thought someone was behind him. He felt like he had to rush that. He just needs a little bit more poise. Sometimes watching a Precious Achua, I know I talk really quickly. Precious Achua plays how fast I talk. Like it's the same thing. I feel like I need to watch him play at 0.75 in order for me to truly understand what he's doing in a game, but it feels like it's coming to him. So having him now, because he was he was just not very good at the beginning of last season and then became very important to the Raptors in the second half of last season. And this year, already in the preseason, granted, he didn't have his best game against Chicago, but we're seeing things that he's able to do now that he was not able to do in the past, right? Like I kind of always liken him to my niece who's a toddler. And every time I see her, she completely changes. Like she knows new words and she can walk and she can talk and she can eat and like all these different things. And I'm like, how are you learning to be a human so quickly? And that's kind of like watching Precious Achua. I'm like, how are you learning to be a basketball player so quickly? This is a guy who people were joking was a 0-level scorer last year. Like forget 3-level score. They were calling him a 0-level scorer last year. And then he shot close to 40% from deep in the second half of the season. And it was like, okay, well, he can just do it from the corners. And then he expanded to do it from the wings. And then you see him taking above the break threes. And then it was like, okay, well, he's one of the worst finishers. Nikias wrote a brilliant piece for Basketball News last year calling Precious Chua, rightfully so, a terrible finisher. He was finishing at the same sort of efficiency as Fred VanVleet, who's a foot shorter than him and also a terrible finisher. But then what we got to see in the playoffs is Precious put the ball on the floor and attack Joel Embiid of all people and finish over Embiid. And it was like this guy who did not have any of this in his arsenal at the beginning of the year is looking more and more like a player. And we're starting to see that more this season as well. Yes, that push shot fell short, but his ability to take it in there, that was just not something that we saw from him. He still can't catch a lob to save his life, which kind of sucks because he's so athletic and I kind of want that for him. But he's grown. So I think in terms of depth, you have guys like that have grown, and also Delano Banton, who Chris has talked about, Nelly and I think Jess were talking about him as well. So I'm not going to go too deep into him, but I just think having those guys improve and develop is why the Raptors have more depth than they had in years past. Also, Kem Birch is healthy and looks really good this preseason. So I say that they have about 9, 10 guys. Like we can literally count them off. There are probably 10 people, and that's not even including a guy like Malachi Flynn, who unfortunately, like I think it's going to be pretty difficult to see him on this team if he can't shoot the three. Because that's one thing. If you're watching the Raptors, one thing they cannot do is space the floor. And I do think that yes. Fred's numbers from deep have not been great. OG's numbers from deep have not been great, but you trust that they're two of your better 3-point shooters. So I think that the Raptors should feel comfortable moving into the regular season with some of the 3-point shooters. Otto Porter hasn't played a basketball game yet. He's going to be one of your better 3-point shooters. So they should have that. But to me, their offense is going to be a bigger issue just with the lack of spacing, but something that we've seen, and Nelly kind of pointed to it when she talked about the amount of steals that the Raptors are getting. Their transition offense is unstoppable. It is ridiculous. Now, unless Scottie gets the ball and throws a weird outlet pass that just should not ever happen.
Which happens.
Something like that happens. The Raptors can really capitalize on a ton of not only just transition opportunities with the amount of steals that they constantly get. Fred VanVleet had 5 in the first half, but also just we saw so many early like semi transition opportunities, right? Because the Raptors might struggle in the half court, but these semi transition opportunities they get because they push the pace as much as they do, which is one of my favorite things I've watched with Delano Banton this year, is his ability to push the pace, is his ability to get in the middle, is his ability to get down low. That is something that the Raptors are missing. Last year, thank you guys so much for Precious, but y'all gave us Goran Dragic, and I've never seen someone walk the ball up in transition. What the fuck are you doing, bro? Like, literally walking the ball up, and it's like, do you not know your team cannot set up in the half court? You have no shooters. Why are you walking the ball up on a transition opportunity? So they're just not going to have offense like that they had to play at the beginning of last year. So I do think they're going to be better. I'm really, really high on this team, and I think it really starts at the defensive end, and we're seeing it already.
Man,
Respect
love it.
Goran's knees, please.
Nelly and Jess, go ahead. Come on in here, wrap it up, and then we got Jose up here. I've got a question for everybody up on stage regarding the Raptors, but we'll do it after Nelly and Jess. Nelly or Jess, whichever one wants to take over.
Go ahead, Jess. I'll go after you, hon.
Okay, yeah, no, I was just gonna jump onto Iman's, soliloquy, her TED talk about Precious, because yes, he's not refined, he's not at the level that we're hoping he can get to just yet. But I actually saw him do some things, especially defensively, that won't necessarily show up on stat sheet yesterday. Like the way he was able to put his chest into the man in front of him, like the reads that he was making. Like he is clearly, every night that he's on the floor, growing, and he's becoming a better player. And we can talk about how messy some of his offensive stuff is, and it is, but he's almost moving a little bit faster than my eyes can see sometimes. And that's exciting to me. There's actually something, like, if he could hone it in, if he could refine it, and when he's kind of like barreling downhill, if he can be a little bit more graceful with how he's finishing, I think you've got something special in Precious that makes it sadly worth losing the greatest Raptor of all time in Kyle.
It's gonna go down as a really historic trade because I love Kyle. I love him so much.
Hey,
he is 35 years old, and he would have taken a good chunk of the Raptors' cap space. I just think having Precious Achiuwa here is fantastic.
I agree. And the thing is, it's like every night we see Precious, it's looking that way. It's looking like he is very clearly on a path to developing into something special. Whether that's a small ball 5 or 4 at times, like we'll see how Nick Nurse wants to run these rotations. But I am very excited to see how him and Delano, because Delano is also real. Like after last night, I think I'm buying some Delano.
Can I ask you one question? Because I've bought all the Delano stock, but my issue with Delano, the one thing, that dribble is high as shit, bro.
I know.
It's so high. I'm constantly worried someone's gonna pick his pocket. Like it's so high.
But he's quick enough, like to.
But he's 6'9", so that's gonna be hard.
I know, but it's high. Like to me, it feels higher than everybody else when he's bringing. Maybe it's because he's the point guard. I don't know.
Yeah.
No,
this is me with Bol. I do the same thing with Bol. I can never see him as an NBA
Bol's
player.
Like 8 feet tall, though.
Yeah.
It's a byproduct of bad high school and college coaching.
Mm-hmm.
They allowed him to use his height to put distance away, so he didn't have to worry about pickpockets.
Exactly.
Hey, two really quick things. One, S said Precious ain't so precious no more in a rap during week 1 of last year, and I agree with that. Precious ain't precious so more. And then the second thing, I honestly forgot, so I'm gonna let you roll. Go ahead. Thank you.
All right. Let me ask this. Oh, go ahead, Nelly. Yeah,
I just want to add one thing. So Jess, man, it's so great seeing women talk sports, Chris, honestly. But anyway, go and pick up my girls from Toronto. One thing for the Raptors that concerned me is roles. I don't think our players know their role yet. And it's something that struggled last year. Even this year, watching the team offensively, and Amanda, Jess, I saw it. Sometimes I felt like they weren't sure who is who and what is what. And for me personally, Precious should not be dribbling the ball offensively unless he has to. Okay, let's just make smarter decisions, Chris. Like I need our team to say, hey guys, I see Gary Trent, I see Siakam. I'm Precious. How about I pass the ball to those two guys because they can score better than me? Like I need us to just kind of play smarter basketball, have better IQ on decision making, and if we have to score, let's go to our spot and take that shot. So for the Raptors this year, I'm looking for smart decisions offensively because we know we're the best shooters. So let's just make the smartest decisions that will equate us to succeeding in a basket. I think if we can figure out that our role is who's tier one, who's tier two, who should get the ball first. I got to see more of that because I think right now we're playing buddy buddy basketball. I need people to know, hey, you're good, but you're not that good, right? Like let's be real here. So my concern this year is that I need guys to just know their role, know that I'm a defensive guy. If it's offense, give it to Scotty, give it to Gary, give it to Siakam, OG. But I'm Precious. I'm good, but I'm not that good. Like I need us to just kind of, know where we stand. And of course, Precious can improve all he wants to improve. But my thing is that we need to know who is the guy to give the ball to. That's all I want to add, Chris.
All right.
I remember the second thing. The second thing, Amon, that was nasty. Saying Kyle Lowry takes up space before 12 o'clock, before I've even had my second cup of coffee, was really nasty.
Okay, can I just say I feel really bad about it. I'm working on a piece. It should come out this week for Yahoo Sports where I'm doing like this whole thing on like what the Raptors are building. And in it I had to talk about their lack of bad contracts. And it hurt me to write it, but I'm like, yeah, they could not keep Kyle. Like, I was just thinking about the amount of cap Kyle would take from his team and what it would look like with him. And I love Kyle Lowry. There's not a bigger Kyle Lowry fan in the world. I would be willing to sacrifice it because I enjoy him so much watching him play basketball. But I'm like, you have Fred VanVleet, who's kind of mentored and taken over, and you have Precious Achua, and you've gotten rid of that contract. And that looks like a major, major, major win for Masai Ujiri. And it pains me to say it, but it's true. And also, Nelly, I agree with your point. The offensive hierarchy on the Raptors right now is completely out of whack, and I do think that we've seen that for a couple of years now, and it's kind of like it's really sucks to say, but when there is an injury on the team, you kind of see it fall into place a little bit because one of those guys, like if it's an OG taking a bigger role, what does that mean? That means that Gary's still going to get a ton of shots. Fred VanVleet's still going to have a high load, but like. You don't want that. Precious. Pascal Siakam is your. I was about to say Precious Achiuwa is your best player because Pascal Siakam is your best player. So when Pascal's there, like everyone needs to go down a peg. And I just feel like when you have that many talented guys and you have this many guys who you want to see handle the ball, you want to see play make some because they are trying to develop that. You want to have all of your 6'9" forwards be able to do everything, basically a little bit of everything at the very least. That kind of leads to people not knowing the roles. To your point, like the offensive hierarchy is just not completely in place. It'll be really interesting to watch Nick Nurse kind of handle that because you want everybody to be healthy. You don't want it to fall into place because there's a major injury.
Right. Yeah. And
all right. Let me hop in. Yeah.
I think you need to throw in the style of play that the Raptors play because most teams don't want to play against the Raptors this year. They play a different style on offense and defense, and they're very, very
Chris,
physical.
if you're talking, I don't hear you.
That needs to be mentioned.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, we can hear you.
There's some spaces jump going on. Like if you guys get dropped, come back in. If you can't hear, come back in. It's gonna be on and off. That's what a Twitter dev just told me. We've got 2 minutes left in this quick segment. Malika Walker has a question about Pascal Siakam. That was actually going to be Mike. I have a question as well. I don't have Pascal below 22nd in the league in terms of overall ranking as a player. That's just me. I want to know what your thoughts are, and so does Malika. Malika, what else do you have as a question for Pascal Siakam?
Basically, that's the question. I was wondering, like how the Raptors see him compared to some of the top players, like their 1-2 players on their teams with the top teams. Like, where do y'all see Pascal versus like the top teams and their top players? Like, you think he is him like that? Like when you look at Philly, you look at the Nets, you look at some of these top tier teams, Boston. Do you see like Pascal like up there on that level?
Yeah.
That's a great question because people always compare Pascal with back in the day, I feel old, but when he first came to the league, people thought, okay, will he be like a him or JT, him or my boy from Milwaukee. Like he gets compared to a lot of the forwards, Butler, you name it, BI. In terms of skill set, I don't think he's like the top guys, but I think in impact he can be that way. I just don't think Pascal, and this is my opinion, I don't think he is a top, like he's a top guy for a top franchise. I think on a top franchise, he's a really good 1B or number 2 for me. I think the Toronto, the way we play is because we know he isn't the top guy in the league. He's like top 20. That's fair. But I do think in terms of like the Kevin Durant's, the Embiid's, no, he's not there. But I think though can he become like that? I don't know. However, I think he's a good 1B or number 2 on a championship team, Malika.
All right, Iman, Jess, real quick, your thoughts.
Yeah, I think he's definitely like top 20 in the league, top 10, maybe 9, 10 in his position. And he's one of the most versatile power forwards in the league, right? He's so versatile, sometimes he'll play center. I think when he is like, when he's in that groove, like when he's really going and the spin is spinning and the shots are going in and he's seeing the floor the way we know that he can, with what he can bring defensively, I think he can contribute majorly to winning. As that, like, whether we want to say like the one B kind of guy, like I do think he's someone that can be built around. And what we do is positionless, right? To what Nelly and Iman was saying, and I think Pascal is a big part of that, right? His versatility, his length, his offensive skill is a big part of what Masai and Nick Nurse are building. And it has its flaws at times, right? And I think what I was going to say is this is where like a player like Pascal and a team like the Raptors is where I miss someone like a Chris Finch, right? Like that offensive coordination that the Timberwolves have now. I think you're going to see Cat, D'Lo, and Rudy, you're going to see them flourish. And we're already talking about it because when Chris Finch was the Raptors offensive coordinator, everybody had their spots. Everybody kind of knew, it was a little bit more poetry in motion on the offensive end of the floor. And we don't have that as much. But some of that was able to happen because of how versatile Pascal is. And so I do think, again, I think he's top 20 in the league, top 10 at his position. And we'll see what happens this season.
All right, Iman, you got anything you want to add?
I think he's higher than what some people are even claiming. I think the problem with Pascal Siakam is I think that people put too much on him pretty early on in his career. And then he had an injury and the bubble happened where all eyes were on him, despite the fact that he was an all-star starter that year, despite the fact that he was second team All-NBA. That year, all of his eyes were on him. Second team All-NBA. Like, think about that you're in the top 10 at that point. And I don't know that I think he's a top 10 player because I don't. But I do think that he's in the teens. And the reason I say that is like if you actually look at the numbers, right? I think sometimes we focus on people's like names because of the biggest moments. He's won a championship. He put up like 32 points on Draymond Green in game 1 of that championship team, and he was absolutely like lighting him up. We're talking about a player who's since improved. His pull-up shooting numbers pretty good for a starting forward, up there with some of the other big guys in the league. He was doubled, I think, more than anybody in the league last year. Like it was like top like 99 percentile. I don't have the numbers here because my computer's being a little bit too slow to load. I was hoping to have it up there for you. Also, in terms of like ISO possessions, like just having Pascal create for you because that's what you want from your superstar. Looking up ISO frequency of last year, the people who are ahead of him, James Harden and Shai Gilgeous, who did like I guess he played like 50 games. So like and then it goes Pascal Siakam, Luka Doncic. Like we're genuinely in terms of like his play style. It is he's doing the things that you kind of want your number one guy to do. Now, do I think he can be a number one guy and win you a championship? No. But I think there are 5 players in the league that I probably count as a number one guy that can win you a championship. But can he be a number 2 guy and win you a championship? Yeah, he's done it. He did it in his 3rd season, and he is a much better player now than he was then.
I agree 100%. The reason why I have him down at 22 is more of durability. 68 games last year, and he was in the 50s the 2 years before that. It just that's all. It's just really volume production at that point is what's keeping him. If he can stay at that 60 level, I think you're right. I think he probably moves up into the teens. All right, 30 seconds to Tony, 30 seconds to Mike, and then we're going to reset the room. and we're going to talk some Spurs and some Pelicans. And when I say we're going to talk some Spurs and some Pelicans, we're really just going to talk some Pelicans. Like, there's really not much to talk about the San Antonio Spurs, even though Evan Townsend is going to write eloquently this year about them. We all know what's up. We know what's up. Like, the Spurs aren't hiding what's up. They're just not saying it, but they're not hiding it. We'll go to Micah first for 30, then Tony for 30. Go ahead.
Man, I kind of got my points stolen. I'm not even a Raptors fan. I just I watched real deep in that. I love that 2019 run that they was on, and yeah, as far as Pascal, I think it's the same with a lot of guys that get kind of overshadowed. They are elite number twos, and if you put them with like we're saying, like a top 5 player, or hell, even a top 7 player, you got a good shot at a championship. And that's kind of where I grade Pascal at, like was always already stated, like a 1B or a number 2 on a championship team, because hell, like it's already said, he did that in year 3. You know, he is a big part of that championship run.
Yeah.
Can I
It's
ask
pretty
Mike
cool.
a quick question? Mike,
Yeah.
you know, like when I hear you, I always go to your profile. Have you lived in Texas all your life? Like your accent. You're so noticeable because of your accent. I was curious. Have you always lived in Texas?
Yes, I am born and raised in the 903 area. I've lived here. I'm like 37 years old, and outside of 7 years, yes, I've lived in East Texas that whole time.
Yeah,
I love Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is him. That's all I'm gonna say.
If you go to a certain point east past Dallas and San Antonio, they sound completely different. If you go to a certain point west past San Antonio and Dallas, they sound completely different. Like Texas literally could be 3 different states just by the accent alone.
I appreciate that because other people from Texas don't, like it's just interesting. Like I was trying to pick up on it, and I just was curious. Thanks.
Tony, 30 seconds.
I wanted to get to Jess really quick before we leave. Jess, they said on the streets that Draymond said, "Try Jesus, don't try me." You think that's what he said?
I think that's what he said.
We've got some non-basketball news. The head coach for the team that plays football in Carolina North is fired because his team sucks.
I'm not surprised, Chris. Yo, I saw that coming, man.
I don't even watch it, and I know that it was going to happen. Why? Because he coached at Temple University. Nothing happens good if you coach at Temple University.
And they hate him there. He's hated worse than the Hornet. Like they hate him there. It's bad.
Well, the funny thing about Matt Rule,
worse than we hate Nash.
But his press conferences, like what he says, is toxic.
Yeah, well, I was going to say the funny thing about Matt Rule is nobody likes him wherever he went. That comes actually from a reporter. Yeah, look, hey, different life. All right, we have Spurs and Pelicans to talk about. And the reason why we're talking about the Spurs and Pelicans is because the Pelicans are scary deep. They played their 10th man as a starter last night. Yes, 10th man. 10th. I can name the 9 in front of him. Their 10th man, Trey Murphy III from Virginia, lit up those San Antonio Spurs for 27 points, going 7 for 10 from deep, 10 for 15 from the floor, 8 boards, 3 assists. 10th man. And I just want you to understand, the New Orleans Pelicans can field a starting lineup where Zion Williamson is the shortest guy. Trey Murphy's a shooting guard. He's still growing. He will be 7 foot by the end of the season. He's like 6'11" and 3/4 right now. It's insane. Herb Jones doesn't even need to score. He just needs to play defense. He's 6'8", 6'9". Zion Williamson, 6'7", 268, 275. It's sick. Jonas Valanciunas, 6'11", 250. Evan, Spurs tanking for Victor. We know that. What did you see last night? Because the Pelicans look scary.
Yeah, no, it was was an abysmal performance yet again for the Spurs. It's the preseason. You know, we don't have Keldon, we don't have Josh Primo, but that's still not enough. Literally, you know, when Larry Nance hits threes, you know, that should say it enough. It's going to be a rough night, but overall, I don't think a lot of people even recognize who's on the Spurs roster. That's really what I want to talk about. Like when I'm looking through Twitter, looking through comments, people are talking about trades. They're like, Josh Richardson's on the Spurs, Zach Collins is on the Spurs. They don't know left from right, and you know, I guess we're just the seller of the NBA. We're just gonna take it. But at the end of the day, everyone, like you said, everyone knows it's the Victor sweepstakes. Again, we could use a point guard, but it's just the connect's already there. Tony Parker, Boris Diaw. Realistically, we've seen last week. I'm not gonna talk about the scrimmage between the G League United and Metropolitans too much, but we saw last week the first appearance of Victor as a superstar. Literally walking in the LV with the shades, the custom Nike SBs, the custom dunks the day before. Literally, this kid is a 7'3" confirmed now, 7'3", 7'4" with shoes, confirmed superstar, alien, can shoot from moving threes on defense, perimeter, interior, just a lockdown. So, you know, at the end of the day, everyone could, at like the third of the league, probably maybe a fourth of the league, probably would want to tank at the potential of this, at the potential maybe if their superstar is hurt or if they're really tanking. We saw some estimates of like maybe 500 million, 550 million of worth of value this guy's added to your team in terms of merch, in terms of sales, in terms of people wanting to show up to a game. Actually, I didn't go to the game last night, but went to the first game in Orlando this past week, and it was like nobody even wanted to be there. Nobody wanted to show up. Again, it's the season preseason opener. You'd want to, you know, show up, be loud. Tickets are dirt cheap, but yeah, it's going to be a really, really slow season. But in terms of Victor, the last thing I'll say about him, and I'll pass it on the mic because I do have to go. One thing that I learned this past week: this kid has seen every single specialist in the world for his back, for his feet, for anything and everything. He stretches 3-4 times a day, like in terms of like yoga type of stretches. He has somebody on the bench catering to his every single need at every single time. He has yet to lift a single weight in his life, but he does like the stretch bands. He obviously does push-ups and like you know, all this type of workouts that, you know, you can just imagine people do. But at the end of the day, you know, people are concerned about his injuries and obviously being the center of gravity being 7'4". We don't know how much he weighs, but the 8-foot wingspan, just having to carry that around every single day, especially being having a limited role. And his new team is only playing about 20 minutes, 24 minutes. He got a lot of run in the scrimmage, but you're not going to see games like that. He's only going to put up like 15, 10, and 4 and get in a lot of foul trouble, honestly. That's how teams are really attacking him. So, but that's it. Really no Spurs propaganda because I'm not going to bore people to death. Just straight Victor talk, I guess, every single time I come up here. But we are, in terms of Project Spurs, we are hosting a space today at 4 p.m. Central, talking about the preseason, talking about Victor, talking about other prospects as well. So if you want to tune in for that, we do that about every week around this time. So, yeah. I hope you guys have a great rest of the week, Chris. I appreciate the platform.
But real quick, can I just, you know, you're going to have, you know, some competitors.
Yeah, it's going to be rough.
I was going to say, Malika,
There's
think
people that
Victor
may
is
not even be
his.
trying to. The administration is trying to tank, but the players themselves ain't trying to tank.
A few
Like the Hornets and some others. Like,
yeah.
I just think that it's going to be a mad dash for that.
Gonna
All
get
right. Well, this is a perfect time to hit this button, because I'm gonna say exactly why San Antonio's tank is probably gonna be the best tank in the league. Like this isn't even close. Here are your San Antonio Spurs:
Oh Lord,
Jordan Hall, yeah, Malachi Branham, Doug McDermott, Isaiah Roby, Romeo Langford, Alize Johnson, Gorgie Dang, Zach Collins, Josh Richardson, Trey Jones, Devin Vassell, Jakob Podol.
Come on, no, Devin and Jakob.
Hey,
Josh
respect
Richardson
Yakapurto. Respect Yakapurto.
and Keldon
Thank you.
Johnson.
Josh
Thank
Richardson.
you.
They have a few players.
So here's
Like
the
the Hornets
Olympic
have a few
gold
players, but then
medalist
they
Yeah.
have Bonds
Keldon
and the rest of the.
Johnson, 2
Yeah.
million under
Guys,
Okay.
they
under
have a
Keldon
few
Keldon
tier 10
Johnson.
players. Hey Chris, they got a few tier 10 players. All right,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Like what? Come on, man. Come on,
We'll
guys.
Over.
take tier 10. We'll take tier 10.
Over
Wait
under.
a minute,
Over
Nelly. If
under.
y'all had Yakapurto, he
Or
clears
guess
any
what?
Raptors big man.
Yeah, no.
Can I say something real quick? Can I say something real quick? Then I got to dip.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
If anybody wants Yakapurto, it takes 2 first-round picks.
Yep.
These first, no, listen. These first-round picks don't have to be anywhere near this year. They could be 2029. We don't care. We got
Look
that
at
for
him trying to
Dejounte.
advertise, trying to promote. I
Pick
hear you.
But that's
swaps.
the thing. Like, I might be on an island on my own, but my hot take for Evan was that, like, I think the Spurs, they're clearly still going to be probably closer to the bottom than the middle of the NBA. But I think Devin Vassell, Josh Primo, Keldon Johnson, and Trey are probably better prospects than we all think. And that
Definitely.
rush to the bottom might be a little harder for the Spurs than unless they start clearing out house. Absolutely. But there's some talent there.
Yo,
All right.
Jess is so
I need to ask a question before Evan goes. Over under 25 wins. That's not.
13. How about
Oh, come on.
Oh my God.
That's process sixes level.
Nah,
I'm not gonna lie, Evan 13 being nice.
No, I
That's
swear.
crazy.
Listen, let me spit real quick. Keldon
Keldon
Johnson
is a bucket.
No, he's gonna be our leading scorer, but he's not an isolation scorer. He's 6'6". He lost 20 pounds. He can Euro step, blow his way to the lane. Imagine a lockdown defender guarding that. That's the only scorer besides Devin Vassell. We can try the pick and roll with Yakapurto. We saw the floater action. He can do that. But the man's gonna get shipped, and we're gonna start Gorgie Jang. So, at the end of the day, like it's gonna be set up to where we know we just want to fill out whose role is gonna be whose role. But we're starting from the very bottom. We don't have that star player just yet. We have to draft him first. Everyone else in the league at least has a superstar player, someone that can sell tickets. Keldon Johnson.
I like Keldon.
It's cool. It's possible, but it's just not enough. And I'm telling you, we're the seller. We're not going to win more than 20 games, and if we do,
I disagree. You got two good players there. Like you got something.
We got to score 80 points. We can score 50.
The San Antonio Spurs were 34 and 48 last season. I have them as the second lowest win total.
Yeah. Also, guys, during the Western Conference, they got to play a lot of Western teams, 3 or 4 times actually. So
I just need Evan to know that I believe in Devin Vassell. You know what I'm saying? I see the vision. I think
too.
Johnson is.
Yeah, I like Devin Vassell. This nothing. This has nothing to do with it.
My Canadian boy Josh Primo. Like I believe in what's happening over there. And sure, if the tank works here, then the Spurs can.
Let me get Scott in here.
Personally against the Spurs tank. Like no.
Let me get Scott in here if he's available.
Tim Duncan and nope.
Scott, you with us? Because I thought I heard him trying to say something.
Yeah, I'm here.
There he is.
Yeah, what you got? He was here, now he's gone. Hate to see it.
Just like Kawhi Leonard.
I gotta tell him. I hit him with the horns.
Kawhi jokes, bro. That was 5 years ago, bro. Cool.
All right. We've got about 5% of battery power left, ladies and gentlemen, because my charger, for whatever reason, it's not working. Yeah, that's dope. Way to go, Apple. We got a new guy up here. Vin, what's up? How you doing? What are your thoughts on the NBA action this past weekend? And then I guess we'll go ahead and get ready to start closing down early. As I just now noticed that for whatever reason, I got one of those chargers, those magnetic chargers that are supposed to work, and it doesn't seem to be working anymore. That sucks. Vin, what do you got?
Do you guys watch the Rockets lately? Because I personally believe that Rockets is gonna have like a very interesting season today.
I mean, yeah. By interesting, do you mean a lot of points? Yep, they're going to allow a lot of points. They're going to score a lot of points, so they're going to be interesting.
I truly believe they have a lot of like potential prospects, and they could be like really interesting, like the case of OKC.
I actually, they to me remind me more of Memphis than OKC. OKC is a long-term executive strategy. A lot of people aren't understanding. Like Sam Presti was given a job by Clay Bennett. Clay Bennett told Sam Presti, "I need you to make this team perennially competitive." Right? Sam Presti said, "The only way I can see that is basically cornering a large segment of what's essentially NBA capital, and that's draft picks." It's very similar to what Sam Hinkie did in Philadelphia via the process. I just think that it's ran more smooth in Oklahoma City because it's Oklahoma City and it's not Philadelphia or it's not New York or it's not Los Angeles. Like none of these other cities would be able to get away with it. But Oklahoma City, what do you got? You got the Oklahoma City Thunder, and then you got Mike Gundy saying I'm 40, right? So it is what it is. We'll go quickly now to final thoughts. We'll work our way from the bottom to the top. We will go to Micah. Then we got Scott, Jess, Nelly, Gifted, Malika, and Iman. Thank you, everybody. Micah, final thought of the day. And Micah gets the horns. Scott, final thought of the day.
We are going to revisit this Harold Poole thing in 1 month. So mark your calendars. When you guys come back, let's get down with the stats and everything and see how the groove is. Because I really believe both Poole and Harold will make a jump this year. But I think Malef Familia is going to pull out of top. By the way, you talked a lot about SEC guards showing out in the NBA, even if they're undrafted like Scottie Pippen Jr. That says a lot about what the SEC is doing these days. So thanks for the shout out, Malika.
All right. I appreciate you, Scott, being able to come in here and talk some heat with us. And as always, you're always welcome. And I do hope that, the inclusion brand, Kentucky Bourbon Straight Whiskey, launches off and you have a wonderful career in distillery. Like it's important for all of us to be able to chase our passions. And that's what we do here every day. We chase our passion. Whether you are writing, whether you are listening, whether you're speaking, you are chasing your passion of basketball. So it's dope. Everybody make sure you shoot Nothing But Heat to follow. Mike, are you back with us?
I really appreciate that. The whole thing behind Inclusion Brand Bourbon is we're just showing that every culture, every background needs to be included. And we should all just have an environment where we can all sit down and just have a drink together. Bringing it all together, unifying this world. There's enough hate, but we need to bring it all together. It's all about unity. Yeah, I appreciate that, Chris.
And we appreciate you, Scott. Micah, last thought.
Man, just ready for regular basketball. Best sport, especially right now. Best sport is ready to start up, so I'm ready for it. I think people are being slept on, and we'll just see how it goes, and we'll get to see real life and not on paper.
All right. Appreciate it, Micah. Jess, final thoughts for today.
Yeah, I'm excited for NBA basketball to be back in about a week's time, to be in here every night. The Raptors terrorize the league, Chris, and talk to you and talk to Hoop Spaces about it. My final thoughts are: do not shoot threes in front of OG Anunoby. Do not make lazy passes in front of Frederick Van Fleet. Have a good morning, everybody.
Man, she went Frederick. Love it.
Frederick is crazy.
Nelly.
Yo,
Respect.
I love Yo, honestly, I'm just happy for the NBA season. I'm actually excited to watch a lot of basketball. Pelicans, to me, are one of the scariest teams. I think people sleep on them. I'm so upset that we can talk about them, Chris, today. But I'm actually high on the Pelicans. I think he's a special player, and I think a lot of people don't give him what he what he needs recognition because he's playing for the Pelicans. So I'm hoping Bi can eat this year, and he gets a lot of praise. But the Raptors, we're back, we're deadly, and your team will be scared to play us. I'm gonna land right there.
All right, appreciate it. Gifted Blade, man, let's talk about what you got cooking today and Wednesday. What do you have for the locker room?
Yeah, so we ran a poll, and Kawhi Leonard won that poll. So essentially, on Wednesdays, what we do is we do a thing called Film Spaces, where we dive into the film of players and we dissect their games, where they are. and how they look in terms of scoring, defense, playmaking, off ball, portability, clutch shot making, all these types of factors. In our recent poll, Kawhi, Steph, Giannis, and Tatum were the candidates. Kawhi won. So this upcoming Wednesday, we will be doing our film spaces around Kawhi Leonard and how he plays basketball. And throughout the season, we're also going to be doing team profiles. So if there is a team that is on fire, we'll be breaking down why they win the way they do, how they play defense, all those types of things. So if you want to see basketball in its purest form, make sure to tap into the locker room at NBA Film Spaces.
Yeah, there you go. Are you eating chicken and rice?
You got the chicken aspect correct, but it is sadly not rice today because I'm currently outside.
All
And
right.
I'm actually happy that you said that. I forgot to say this. There is going to be a RJ Barrett film breakdown next week. We are collaborating with Live from the Mecca on a Tuesday to break down RJ Barrett's game and how good he could potentially be.
All right. Going up on a Tuesday. Make sure you tap into the NBA Film Spaces. That is the Twitter handle you need to follow. Follow Sean with the W too. Cedric Shine as well. Live from the Mecca, one of the best spaces you can have talking Knicks with people from New York who aren't going to cuss you out. Well, maybe they might. I don't know.
They
I
will
think it
cuss you out.
depends. Yeah, I think it depends, right? Like, yeah, I could see that. Malika also has a great show getting ready to pop off on Wednesday as well. Malika Walker of The Rewind. You can follow her at the handle at Malika Walker. And I'm telling you now, like the idea of what Spaces is and all the social drop in audios, it's a new disruptive medium. You're going to be able to have potential access. You'll be able to share passions, communication, but more importantly, you're going to be able to share stories. And Malika does a phenomenal job talking about the history of basketball and other subjects like music, the civil rights, in terms of culture. She's a phenomenal follow. She's a phenomenal woman, and she's a phenomenal friend, my friend, and hopefully your friend. And that's why I want to see you Wednesday night. Malika, what you got for us?
Chris, the build up. I mean, I don't know if we live up to the build up. I mean, I love you though, Chris. But this week, I'm gonna have the rewind actually on a Thursday. We're going to be discussing because my Nets collide. They're playing the Bucks on Wednesday, so I moved it to Thursday. We're going to be discussing the Redeem Team, the doc that's on Netflix. We're going to discuss that in detail. And we're also going to talk about the top five centers all time. Last week, we talked about the top five power forwards. This week, we're going to talk top five centers. Just curious of where people have people and why they have them where they are. I'm just keeping a log, and so definitely check me out this week and check out the Redeem Team so you can join the conversation.
Yeah,
That's the
join. That's the whole thing is you can
that's
join. Some
me because I can talk about all of this stuff, but join me in conversation about the Redeem Team. Bring your honest opinions, and that'll be great. So that's coming up on Thursday this week. I'll be checking out the locker room space on Kawhi because he's one of my favorite players. Period. So I'll be there tuning in for that. And tonight the Hoopsters will be discussing Lisa Leslie's appearance on the. If you saw Lisa Leslie's
mm.
shot at the very end, I mean, some of those I even and I love the W, but I'm kind of like I don't go to the like it really pissed off even me. Some of the things she said on here. So tap in with the Hoochie tonight. Sabria will be the judge, and we will present the evidence, and people will, let's talk about it. So that's tonight on the Hoochie account. I will be in there. So if you follow me, you'll see it at the top of your whatever. Tap in with us, and that's it.
All right.
I cannot
Last
wait for the Rudy Gobert conversation on Thursday. I can't wait, Malika.
And last, we have Iman Adan. Ladies and gentlemen, a wonderful, wonderful basketball mind. She makes fun of herself, right? She says, "Well, I talk fast," and I actually don't say she doesn't talk fast. She talks at the pace that she's supposed to talk because that's how she talks. Your job is to open your ear and listen. And every time that I've spent time with her, I open up my ears and I get smarter. You can find her words over at Yahoo Sports Canada. You can find her words over at Basketball News. And you can still hear more of her voice over at Dishes and Dimes. Shout out our girl Sandy as well. Iman, your final thoughts for the NBA weekend?
You were far too kind, Chris. And in the words of Lil Wayne, I don't talk fast, y'all just listen slow. My favorite line. No, I echo what everybody's saying. First of all, Kawhi Leonard, also one of my favorite players, obviously, of all time. And I also just think his trajectory is one of the most absurd things that we've seen in the NBA. And it's a whole other conversation. I'll tune in. I'll tune in to the locker room thing because I've got a lot of thoughts on guys who can just operate out the high post and just like back, because like I worry about, never mind, I'm gonna talk too much about Jason Tatum and there's no need for me to bring him up. Love him, but just players who can operate the post. Okay, anyway, and him not being one of them. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, Pelicans, also Nelly, with you on that. Love them. BI, special player, really excited for them. I think they need to bring back their scary mascot because they're gonna be a scary team this year. That's all me. I'm done.
I love it. You got any content getting ready to do? You said you got a piece
Yeah,
coming
so
up for y'all.
Dishes and Dimes, me and Sandy, we just dropped a new episode today. On Yahoo Sports, me and Usad just dropped another podcast about the Raptors. And then on Yahoo Sports later on this week, I'll have a video essay up about what the Raptors are building and how they're sort of building their contending team and why, despite the fact that the Cavs just made a major trade, the Hawks just made a major trade, the Raptors could stand pat and still feel very confident with their spot in the Eastern Conference, being at the top of that second tier.
Love it. All right. Well, that's the show today. We got 2 hours in. Tomorrow we'll get 3. We'll get there. It's our preseason too. My final thoughts is I'm just happy that we're gonna pretty much have regular basketball games every day. It was rough the last 40 days. Rough. The Sixers are going to be good. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. We still need to do Charles Barkley. I still need to talk to Nelly about getting on the good rookies again. Iman, what you got? Oh, I thought you had something.
My bad.
Yes, Charles Barkley this week. Yeah, we need to talk about that.
Yeah. Go ahead, Iman. What you got?
No, I just didn't mute myself. But also what Malika said, tune into Hoopstresses tonight too.
Yeah. Hoopstresses, founded by Nafluential. Another dope platform all of you should come in and listen to. When you take time to actually listen to other people, you get smarter whether you want to admit it or not. That's what sharing is. That's what being an adult is. And I say this because there are 2 incidents that happened over the course of the offseason. One with Golden State in regards with Draymond Green and Jordan Poole, but another that you never heard about. Because these things do happen. And it encompasses a lot. And it's something that we didn't really have a conversation about. It's because I'm conflicted with it. I understand the idea of toxic masculinity, and I understand its role in what it plays in sports and society and our culture in general. But I also understand what it is to be locked in a space with the same people, and the only emotional outlet you have is with and at times against each other. And I want to say that we should take some time and do give both Jordan Poole and Draymond Green all the space that they require to work through this incident, because the incident itself was bad enough. What makes it worse is the fallout, and that's really where I think we need to do better as a culture and as a society. If we start taking the time to take the 5 seconds to say what happens after more often, we can start being better and training ourselves to de-escalate these types of events and hopefully work it out to a point where we don't have to have these conversations of, is toxic masculinity a harbinger of negativity in sports? Because sports is not supposed to be negative. Sport is supposed to be positive. It's supposed to help build you up. It's supposed to enrich you with self-esteem. It's supposed to teach you how to be able to function in a group setting or an individual setting. And that's also one of the things that makes it beautiful, because the dedication to that craft is just the same as an artist to paint or a musician to music. And I do want to say that we should take some time and rehumanize these players so that we don't kind of egg this on. That's all I got for us. I hope I see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Brought to you by slamgoods.com. You can head over to our sponsor at slamgoods.com. Check out the hoodies, check out the shoes, check out the apparel. Use promo code HoopSpaces to save 15%. We appreciate their support. It's not paid support. They actually like what we do when we open up the space and we talk about basketball. I think a lot of people do, and I think this is going to be a good year for us. Not just me, not just Hoop Spaces, but us. Anybody who wants to put the time, energy, and effort into it, it's going to be a good year. It's going to be a great season. Let's keep that positivity. Peace out.